Hey guys, welcome back to Cinematopical. Nate here again with Stephanie.
You call her Stephanie? I call her Heffany.
And Strange Wing. Today,
The GOAT, Strange Wing.
in honor of what movie?
Mary Poppins!
Oh yeah, that one. In honor of the new Mary Poppins movie coming out, we're going to do top 5 favorite musicals. Two people here really love musicals. I'll let you guess which at least one of them is. And Strange Wing's going to tell you how we do it.
So, we're going to do like a 3-man weave, give our 5-4, 5-4, 5-4, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and then exchange the number of ones. We also have the Zemeckis rule, where if one of our one of our movies is someone's number 5 or 4, and the other person has 2 spots or higher, we will save the conversation for them, because they obviously love it more than the other person does. So let's get into it. And whoever loves musicals the most will start us off.
That was the best you've ever explained the rules.
That was really smooth. Fair. So, who loves musicals, Jeremy?
You.
I'll start.
You probably got me beat by a little bit.
Alright, so my number 5 is a wonderful little movie called Guys and Dolls. Yeah, obviously Frank Sinatra is beautiful in this, and one of the main reasons that I love this movie so much is I love movies that follow that have like a larger cast and that follow multiple stories at the same time. And so having two couples that are sort of, their stories are being told and their love stories are being woven in throughout this one greater story, I love that. It has those big show numbers that you want. Also has some really sweet, like those serenade moments. Music's phenomenal. Cast is beautiful, beautifully filmed. Love it. Yeah.
New drinking game. Every time she says beautiful, take a shot. That's 3. Catch up.
My number 4, I know is going to be Zemeckis. I'm 100% sure. It's La La Land.
Zemeckis.
Okay.
What's up with that?
Zemeckis Squad.
So we'll talk about that later.
Actually, I don't think you should finish the video. You should leave now. That's not in your...
Yeah, there's no way that there's 3 other musicals that are better than La La Land.
That's fine.
Anyways, we'll get there. We going this way?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my number 5
East Coast town.
is Across the Universe.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah. So I love the Beatles. Beatles are great.
The greatest band in music history.
And the way that they wove all their music into like this musical.
Yeah.
And how it just kind of goes through like the passage of time and exploring like this relationship that kind of comes and goes, and then like other shit that happens. Honestly, I really just like the Beatles.
Yeah.
And like
fucking great.
That's really, and like I mean the way that it's shot too, like it gets a little artsy at times and things like that.
Just like the Beatles did.
Yeah, it's true. And like the way that it progresses like along with their music as well. Very well done. My number 4. Were you just staring at the top of my head?
A little bit.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
My number 4. Alright, this one's tough because I haven't decided which one I'm going to go with yet. So my number 4 is The Music Man.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to go Matthew Broderick instead of the original.
Why?
Because I wanted that reaction. No, they're both super good,
Yeah,
so I'm just gonna kind of. I mean, and it's almost like there's not a whole lot of variation between the two
The
versions.
cast is different.
Obvious.
Yeah, pretty much. So, the story's really cool. You really like shysters in movies. I really like shysters that learn a lesson. And he came to town and was kind of a scummy shyster, but you know,
Have to check it out.
through the power of music and a librarian, ended up being a pretty good guy. And also somehow taught an entire marching band how to play instruments in like an ungodly short amount of time.
My number 5 also has Frank Sinatra in it. So it's High Society, a remake of the Philadelphia Story. And the one thing I really like about this movie is in the original, I was super behind James Stewart getting the young lady. But different characters, different films. Frank Sinatra and his charisma made me want him to get the lady in this film. Since it's the same story, it was fun to like root for someone else, a different character, but they're being played by different people, obviously. So High Society, it's not as good as the Philadelphia Story, but they do have music in it, and it's a musical, so it's number 5. My number 4 is the Blues Brothers.
2000?
No. Fuck out of here, guy. You have John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. One guy's doing flips. The other one's running from cops. They're hanging out with all these musical legends like James Brown and Aretha Franklin and Ray Charles.
It was a good movie.
You got some great scenes in there with those guys. And yeah, I haven't seen many musicals. So, Blues Brothers, number 4.
If Michael Cotton was making a musicals list, that probably would have been his number 1.
Yeah, dude, it's got a bunch of soul and it's funky. I love it.
Yeah, I love that too.
And yeah, pass it back to one of you amigos.
My 2 and 3 go back and forth a lot. So
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Two comes before 3 all the
Thank
time.
you. I know. Okay, my number 3 is going to be Moulin Rouge. I love Moulin Rouge. It's beautiful. It's whimsical. 4.
Take a shot.
Take a shot! It's whimsical. The music is just stunning. I really love the way that it was filmed. There's such a almost cartoony effect to it, and just like how vibrant the colors are. Music wise, you definitely have those really intimate moments, but then you have these huge show numbers, which is great. I love that it's wrapped around making a musical, which is just like another level of...
That's meta.
Yeah. So yeah, Moulin Rouge.
I thought DDDs were meta.
Wow. No one will get that. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Producers.
Oh, nice.
Which one?
The newest one.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of my...
Doesn't that have Matthew
Also
Broderick?
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Nathan Lane.
Nathan Lane.
Not a lot of Matthew Broderick in this video.
So what I love about The Producers is like it has a lot of elements that musicals can sometimes miss out in, opposed to straight plays, which is some of the speed and some of the types of humor that's used. And I think The Producers carries a lot of that, almost really similar to like British slapstick comedy, into a musical, which is a really unique thing that I'm just so drawn to. One of the reasons it's so high on my list is like the repeatability. Like I can watch that movie over and over and over, and I'm always going to be entertained. I'm always going to have a good time. I'm always going to just enjoy myself.
My number 3 is a classic, but really, I mean, this is a great movie.
List for a different day.
It's a Best Picture winner, but it also has a lot of sentimental value. So go on Sound of Music.
Thought that'd be your number 1.
You thought that'd be my number 1?
Yes.
No, not that. So,
Not that sentimental.
well, like, okay, so, I mean, anyone who's watched all of our videos, which is, let's be honest, very few of you, you may have heard me talk about a late aunt that I had that really kind of like introduced me to movies and stuff like that. And she definitely, like, told me about, like, I mean, I watched The Sound of Music with her probably like 10 times. I've seen that movie a lot. Mm-hmm. And she took me to see a live production one time. But, like, there were, like, other movies, or specifically, like, actors that, like, we were a little closer to. I personally just really like The Sound of Music because, like, it has some humor and like it's a decently serious movie, like in terms of plot, right? So even before you get to the Nazis, like you have a hard-ass widower who needs someone to take care of his ungodly amount of children. Why anyone would ever want that many kids is well beyond me, but it was a different time. But like, yeah, who she just like becomes to those kids is just like really sweet and special, and like people need good people to look up to, especially in their formative years. Number 2 is going to be the aforementioned Zemeckis, which was like, they did my number 1.
Your number 2
could easily be interchangeable.
Holy Toledo, Batman.
Number 2 is La La Land.
Can't believe it.
So we all get to talk about it because it's your number 2, and
My number
you
1.
incorrectly. It's your number 1?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I'm happy for multiple reasons. A, that it's your number 1, and B, that I finally stole one of your number 1s, because normally you always do that to me, and I never really get to like have a true number 1 reveal.
My list may not be the greatest musicals, but my number 1's correct.
for you.
Anyways,
Didn't I tell you to leave?
I won't say a lot about it because I talk about this movie all the time, but it's extraordinarily well directed.
Yep.
And fucking feels.
Yeah. So for me, the first two big musical numbers is not my cup of tea. I can see how that pulls people out of the film. Well, their one-on-one stuff, that when they sing to each other, is amazing. It grabs the heartstrings, and that what makes that for me, the one-on-one stuff, because like it sells what they can't say to each other, they can say in song, and it's not out of place.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel forced.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just say, there's no, I don't know, you don't get you can't relate to the character if they say exactly how they feel, because no one says exactly how they feel, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's
So
fair.
they say that through song, and it fits perfectly with the film, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Great. Why do you like La La Land?
A lot of the reasons that Dale mentioned, and I really just enjoyed hearing you talk about that. That just made me so happy. I personally love the big theater numbers.
Yeah.
I'm super drawn to those. Those got me hooked in the movie immediately. And I think we've discussed this on other videos a lot. I really love how the story, you sort of split and you can see the direction that their lives could have gone. I think that's beautiful. Obviously, music really carries the plot, like Dylan was talking about, as far as being able to express things that maybe conversation didn't allow. And the music's just top notch. Anything from you, bud?
No. I mean, like I said, I talk about it all the time. I mean, it's all that. The way
He
the
talks
music...
about it once during a video. If you check out our top 5 horror movies, Bubba said he talks about it in that video too for some reason.
That was your number one.
Yes, sir.
What's your number one?
My number 3
She's going
is
through
I don't care.
Sweeney Todd.
Oh,
Oh,
good
nice.
choice.
I like serial killers,
That was my number 6.
and I like Helena Bonham Carter. And we get both of those.
What else
so
do we need to know?
There's nothing else.
That's all I have to say about the film. My number 2 is going to be Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. These Oompa Loompas.
The original?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Well,
Good.
the remake is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes,
This one's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
2 different movies.
No, you're right. Just making sure.
So, with that being said, these Oompa Loompas, they're like harmony and melodies, or as Heffany would say, top notch.
Beautiful, even.
Yeah. And it adds the whimsical, as she would say, using all the Stephanie terminology today, the whimsical to it. It really buys you into this Chocolate Factory. When they come on screen, that Oompa Loompa Oompity Doomp. Speaking of that, you need to get back to the Chocolate Factory. But
You're not orange enough.
because of them singing, them forever immortalize them in film history.
It's true.
Because they're probably very forgettable.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. There are very few, like, characters
supporting role.
in general, especially from supporting roles, where it's like, I mean, you would be hard pressed to find anyone on this planet that doesn't know what an Oompa Loompa is.
Right.
You know?
When that one Oompa Loompa kicks in the door, comes out that bitch with those sugar bags.
It's true.
You don't give no fucks.
Now you can tell me what your number one is.
My number 1 is Rent.
Once didn't make your list.
Once was a movie about music that was turned into a musical. So it was not done as a musical.
There's music. Yeah, whatever.
It is not a musical.
You could have
It
made
is
a
a
case.
movie. Yeah, but I did it as my number 1 in the movies about music.
Okay, cool.
So that was
Rent.
my case. Okay, so Rent is my number 1. It came out when I was coming out to myself, and so it
I'm
was.
glad you made that joke, not me.
It was. I'm gonna try to not use as many Stephanie words. It was really influential for me. I remember whenever it came to the dollar theaters, I probably saw it 12 or 13 times, just like day after day after day. I would just go with different friends.
That's $13.
Good math.
Well done. La Vie Boheme was like my anthem. We would, I had a group of theater kid friends, and we would constantly be singing Rent, and it was awesome. But it was really powerful for me to see a group of friends going through so much, just heartbreaking things in their life, and being able to still stick together, process through it. The music's incredible. The fact that Jonathan Larson died before it was able to come to off-Broadway sort of made it being made into a movie just that much more powerful, being able to say, like, this is something that this man worked on, and this was, like, really his heart and soul in a lot of ways, and now it's being shared with even a greater audience. So for me, that was really powerful to see. The music's absolutely incredible. Taye Diggs is just bae forever and ever, amen. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Oh, and I love the fact that they kept the majority of the original Broadway cast. Like, there's only a couple members who weren't the original Broadway cast, and I loved that they brought back. So it really brought in, these were truly, like, theater people doing this theater show on the screen. And that's just so beautiful. Okay.
Cool. So, my number one carries extraordinary sentimental value, along with also being a really good movie. So it's a film called Top Hat. So it's one of the 10 movies that Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers made together. I can't remember what year it came out. But so old school black and white movie. Really kind of keeps like, even like, well, you talked about it with your number 5, and you kind of mentioned the same way La La Land. It's a good mix of the kind of the big showy numbers, along with just kind of like your more intimate, like one-on-one serenades and things like that. So the plot is just like amazing in itself. So long story short, Fred Astaire's character is a famous dancer. He goes across the pond to perform in a show, right? With his manager. His manager wants to introduce him to this girl. His manager's married, but the girl thinks that he's the manager. And she's friends with the manager's wife. So she thinks that his married manager is hitting on him, but he doesn't know that she knows that. So it's just like this weird, like,
miscommunication. He's
like falling head over heels for her, but doesn't understand why, like, anytime they almost kiss or anything, she like freaks out and slaps him and then runs off. And it's like not until like the very end that it's just like, oh. So
sounds like good tension.
It is. It's great. It's very well done. And the humor is so, like, deadpan. Fred Astaire, like, his delivery, like, that dude, like, he's just swagger personified. Like, I don't think you've seen any of his movies yet, but, like, if you did, you know what I mean. Charismatic, like, he was great. But also just the way that they use the, like, music to tell the story. And it's just got that old school, like, good Hollywood vibe. The sentimental part just comes from, like, the same aunt that I was talking about earlier. Like, she, like, was head over heels for like these kind of things. So I was like 6 or 7 years old, like laying in bed with her watching like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and like all these old like big Hollywood musical things, King and I, like all that stuff. But her favorites were like the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers and like Gene Kelly's like Singing in the Rain, like all that kind of good stuff. And somehow me and like my oldest cousin just got hooked on like Fred and Ginger, and Top Hat is, like, technically speaking, in every aspect, it's the best of the 10 movies they made. I also really, really like Shall We Dance, and not that shitty movie that's not even a remake. They just gave it the same name that came out, like, in the early 2000s. But yeah, Top Hat. Go watch it. Just because it's in black and white does not mean it's a bad movie. You'd be surprised.
Nice.
Yeah.
Obviously. Anyone says that they're a loser. Bottom line.
Fair enough.
But, if you're not a loser and enjoy watching black and white movies, tell us what's your favorite black and white musical in the comment section below. This is something topical. Like, comment, subscribe. You fucks.
Even better than I was the last time, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh.
We back.
I'm good. Ooh, yeah. I'm good. Better than I was the last time, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh.
We back and we back and we back and we back.